Brad, what's the feeling after that one? Is it relief?
Probably in a way. I mean, but I think the way that I was really pleased with the way we played. Full stop. Obviously, the first half was more impressive than the second. But I mean, I think we've all got to keep reminding ourselves the Swans played in the grand final last year, and they've got some quality players, and they're a very proud and very good football club. So they were always going to come back at us, and there's a bit of relief, but I also like the way that we. I think we've shown a lot of resilience throughout the year when challenged at different stages. So that's something that usually takes a fair bit of time to build with the stage that we're at. But I think that I was really pleased with most facets of the game today. Clearly lots of room for improvement for us, but I think when we play footy like that, and there's a different feeling at Marvel Stadium when the Essendon supporters really get going, and they get going when we get going, obviously on the field. But I thought the crowd were just unbelievable today, really. And Sydney and Brisbane both have pretty big Melbourne supporter bases, so you can play games here against those two teams where it sort of almost feels half neutral. Didn't feel that way today.
How impressive was the defensive side of things today? Swans had 61 inside 50s.
Yeah.
They scored the 8 goals, and some very good individual performances down back as well.
Yeah, it's probably a hard game to analyse from a statistical perspective. I mean, I think when we sort of got the game on our terms early, they dropped a number behind the ball, which meant that the game sort of became a bit of a more of a sort of a chess game at stages. So but I thought Mackay and Reid early in particular, but through the course of the whole game were instrumental in setting up the victory for us.
You mentioned resilience before. Is it more pleasing to have that when the depth's been tested like it was today? I mean, 2 debutants, 5 changes going into it, knowing that depth can step up as well.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to build. I've said for a few weeks that we think we've got some players in the VFL that are ready, and Hayes and Day Wicks, been probably in our emergencies for the past month. So we thought they're ready, and Day Wicks acquitted himself exactly as we thought he would. We rate him really highly. Ecstatic to take him in the rookie draft last year. We rated him much higher than that. So but Lewis Hayes looks like an AFL player, but unfortunately, we'll wait to absolutely confirm it. But it's almost certain that he's done an ACL as well. So it's I don't know how you sort of handle all of this, other than to say that you face adversity, you got to come through it. And but I can't remember my time in footy where it's just week after week that this has happened. And 5 debutants this year, and with the way it looks at the moment, we'll have some more. But we've got to really quickly move on to the silver lining, which is opportunity for the rest of the list. And we think we've got some other players in the VFL that are ready as well. But it's just devastating for Hazy, because he's worked so hard to get this opportunity, and he took it. I thought he looked right at home. So the positive is that he'll rehab that knee if it is what we think it is, and he knows, and I've told him, there's no doubt now, he knows he can acquit himself really well at AFL level.
Is he the sort of player that you showed others, like you do 2 good years in the VFL, you could really make a leap forward like he has?
Yeah, yep. And I think we're all pretty impatient these days. It's not like it used to be where you do your apprenticeship, but I don't hesitate to bring players in when they're ready. But key position players generally, need a bit of time to put on size and strength, but also to sort of learn their craft. And Hazy's done that really well. And but we've got other players that are capable of coming in. But I think there are some players that we're keen to get in, but when we get them in, we want to leave them in. So we'd ideally like to be patient, but we may not have that luxury.
What unlocked things in the second quarter in your eyes? Because I mean, those 6 goals, a couple of running goals, a couple of pressure ones, it really looked outstanding.
Yeah, I think the difference between the best teams in the competition and almost everyone else is the ability to do that consistently for long enough. I think that's why I've always spoken about. I think we've got capability. I think we've got the capability to challenge the best teams. Our challenge is to do that for the full duration of the game. But I thought at stages today we played our best footy for the year.
How important was Merritt's ability to push forward and kick those couple of goals when he was probably being held a bit?
Yeah, well, he's a unique player in that he can play anywhere on the ground. We move him where we need him, and he's just he's instrumental for us in what he does. But it's the real. I think he's clearly always been a very good player, but I think he's at the peak of his powers at the moment and improving. But the other side of it is his improvement in his ability to bring other players into the game. So, I thought Setterfield was really important, our ability to push Merritt forward, but we need Hobbs to step up in the midfield. He did that really well. So, sharing the load in there was really important.
Do you think he has anything to worry about with Blakey, Zach? Blakey went off with a HIA in the last quarter, that incident late near the Bombers goal.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And as you know, even if I did see it, which I saw the contest from far end from the coach's box, but didn't look at a replay, so I've got no idea. But even if I did, I can't say anything, can I? It's pretty boring.
Do you gain much from the last 3 wins or being single-digit margins and having to hold on?
Yeah, it's not a preference.
Yeah.
but it does. Our players. They're the. You have what people would describe as easy wins, and how much do you sort of take out of that? You take out, the footy you play was really good, but you don't get to replicate the pressure when the opposition is clearly coming at you. Sydney were coming at us hard; they were on top of us. The question was, could we stand up to it and go back at them? And I thought the way we closed the game out in the last 4 or 5 minutes was pretty good.
You mentioned before about how you saw some of the best footy of your season, but doing it more is the key. Do you see the capability this season that the guys can do that for longer stretches, or is it a thing that it's years to come where they can sort of do that?
No, it's we aim to do it every week for 120 minutes, and we'll just keep taking steps towards that. But I think we know that we aspire to challenge the best teams in the competition, and I think there's a gap between what they're doing consistently over time versus what we're doing, but I think we're taking steps to bridge that gap.
How do you see Goldstein's battle with Grundy?
Yeah, it was a good battle. They're both really good players, but no, I can't speak highly enough of Goldie. He's just almost done it to death, I feel, but he's a remarkable player. And he's just a great role model for all our players in the way that he just puts the team and the club first, and that we knew very well what we were getting and the reason we got him to the club, and he's exceeded all our expectations because he's been able to park his ego or what he wants personally for the sake of the team. And anyone can say that, but it takes real character to do it, and he walks the walk.
As a coach, if you've got potentially 4 picks in the mid-season draft, Lewis, is there too many that you can bring in midway through a year, or do you need that number to be high?
It's our list management and recruiting team will do their work, and they'll be busy because we need to scour the country and identify the best players that are currently outside of the AFL system. So I'll come in right at the pointy end of that, but their workload just went up again.
Thanks, guys.